Hi, my name is Caitlin Calloway, and this is my movie review on The Wedding Planner. The Wedding Planner is directed by Adam Shankman, starring Matthew McConaughey and Jennifer Lopez, with co-stars Bridget Wilson and Judy Greener. Wedding Planner is an interesting romantic movie about a wedding planner who hasn't really found that true love yet. She threw amazing weddings, but never had one of her own. And one day, she's swooped up and saved by this amazing man, a doctor, and she falls in love. However, plot twist, this movie has ups and downs, lefts and rights, takes you kind of in a full circle, and it's just an amazing movie. It was released in January 26, 2001, and surprisingly, although one of my favorite movies, had a Rotten Tomatoes score of 17% out of 100. I really enjoyed the acting in this movie. Matthew McConaughey is usually a comedic actor who makes us all laugh and giggle, but in this movie he plays really well at being the romantic and slow kind of actor rather than the comedic and laughing, and he holds that character all the way through the movie. His emotions fit. You would think he played in romantic comedies are always instead of being a full comedic actor. He did a really amazing job in this movie, and I enjoy it. Jennifer Lopez has always done great in movies and plays it great as being the one in love who can't have love. She's always played that role, and I love her in those roles. She keeps the emotions going, and she pulls you in and makes you feel like you're living in the movie, and she plays those feelings really well of her facial expressions, and her little actions just truly make you understand how she's feeling in those moments. When I first watched the movie, the plot caught me off guard. Definitely was taken back a little bit. However, Jennifer Lopez has always been the one who can never find love, and unfortunately for her, love has always come in unsuspecting ways. And in this movie, it did that. And unfortunately, it sucked, but she was amazing in it, and I love the plot of it because it's one of those things you're like, oh, that could never happen, but it does happen, unfortunately, sometimes. Granted, it's a little more out there in the movie than it probably would be in real life, and probably wouldn't work out as well, but I enjoyed the plot a lot, and it really made the whole movie what it was. This movie has a very good way of using the old Hollywood classic style that, there always has to be that up, there always has to be that down. This one has a couple ups and a couple downs throughout it. It's not just like one big up, one big down. Having that small moment of not knowing where things were going, or not knowing how things were going to play out, or in this case, having to push their feelings completely down of love for each other because of the situations they were in. It created that turmoil that a lot of movies have, and in this case, it was about love. It was about loving each other in a wrong time, and unfortunately a very wrong time. The victory that was at the end, or sometimes defeat in classic Hollywood style, that victory of finally being able to be together and love each other and just have each other, everything worked out in the end. Talking a little more about the mise-en-scene of the movie. I noticed in this movie, and I noticed a lot in romantic movies, that it had and all like the true, like when you knew they were falling in love. It was super dark in the background with, blurred out with those bright lights, kind of like similar to lights behind me. And then everything else was dark, and then there was this nice warm glow just on their faces that pulled their eyes together and everything. Like the camera just focused on them, and the lighting just drew you into their faces rather than everything else going on in the background. And it really just, it made you in those scenes really understand what was the feeling of it was. It drew you to their eyes, which were interlocked together. It drew you to like the shine of their face and them just staring at each other and embracing each other with their eyes. The camera angles, the close-ups, the lighting, it drew you in rather than making you focus on all the other little things in the background, which in some cases in the movie, there was those little snippets in the background. In particular, there was one scene where it would focus on them, and then in the background, there's a security guard coming up to them that notices them, and it switches back and forth between that security guard and that pressure that starts building up. The way they did that scene was amazing. It built that suspense of what was going to happen. There's, the scene of where it shows eye contact and the different levels of eye contact between a conversation. There was one scene in particular where Jennifer Lopez had seen her ex-husband, or her ex-fiance, with the woman he was cheating on her with in a flower shop, and it shows her like escaping. However, in the end, when of course they ended up seeing her, it showed them right there, but in the camera view it was like she was escaping them, but it brought you into them, and it focused on her emotion more of the whole scene than them, and that really brought the intensity of the situation, and it did it really well. The missing scene in here was amazing, and it hit every mark for emotion, and just I love this movie. It really just, it makes you enjoy it a lot more too, knowing that these things are happening to make the movie like this. And just it was a great movie, and I really enjoyed it. And just that small snippet of just changing that lighting to draw you in really made this movie what it was. I think by what I've said by now, you could probably guess what the theme of the movie is, and that's love. I mean, it's the unsuspecting, the things that are just the wrong time, wrong place, which I feel like is, something very common in today's society. Is everything happens at wrong time, wrong place. You can find the perfect person and it just not be the right time. Or in this situation, it wasn't the right situation. And these two people loved each other, and it was a classic Romeo and Juliet. And it just, gotta love. The love of it was just amazing, and you knew it was love. It wasn't a guessing game. It did have that small drama and everything going on, and outside forces, like the outside forces of one family being like, hey, you need to do this, and the one family being like, hey, you need to do this, or having just that outside conflict of it all. It made the theme of love really come out. Love is messy, it's crazy, it's everything in between, but loving someone is amazing, and this movie really encapsulated that theme of just when it's right, it's right. If I had to rate this film, I would probably give it if I'm being picky, probably a 7 out of 10, but especially when I'm in the mood for that good romantic movie, I give it a 9 out of 10. This is by far one of my favorite movies and one that I watch over and over and over again. So it gets high for me, and like I said at the beginning, you know, that Rotten Tomatoes score is kind of surprising because I love this movie. Jennifer Lopez and Matthew McConaughey are amazing. And I 10 out of 10 recommend this movie for anyone. And I want to show you a clip of a scene that really encapsulated two people falling in love with each other. And I want you to notice the lighting and the mood and the way the cameras are focusing and the way the background is blurring and just the moment. Focus on the moment. Well, I hope you enjoyed that clip of the movie, and I really hope you take the time to actually watch it. It is a great movie, and thank you for taking the time to watch this, and have a great night.